Hello, everyone. Thanks always for joining us on Let's Talk. It's actually a program that is educative, informative, and yes, we're trying to, as usual, we're trying to bring you topics that will be beneficial to everyone. And it's my pleasure to always bring such topics to you. And today is no exception because I have someone special in the house that will be doing this discourse with me. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Oluja Kemosaku. And yes, the topic for today is getting situated in the US. Now we're going to be looking at the H1B EB2. And there's something I also discovered while I was actually reading to also have a better knowledge of what we're discussing. Yes, it might not be as a professional, but at least I have an idea of what may be going on today. And my guest has been here before. Yes, she has been here before. I think that last time we discussed another topic and it was actually fun. So I'm glad to have her back. But this time, as a lawyer in the United States of America, her name is Joy Agbeyegbe. She is attorney and counselor of law. She's actually in New Jersey. So she will be discussing this topic and, educating us on what to expect. Perhaps you want to come into America or, you're already in America and you're finding your bearing. So how to get situated in America. It's just for us to, help ourselves on this journey of living in a foreign land, I guess. All right, so thank you so much for always watching Let's Talk. Again, my name is Oluja Kemosaku. And here is Joy Agbeyegbe. Hi, Joy.
Hello, Joke. It's good to see you again.
Yes, I'm so excited. There was a time that I spoke with you, and you told me you were always traveling. You were always traveling. Is that you're in North Carolina, you're in South Carolina, or you're on your way to Pennsylvania? And I was wondering what's going on. The truck stuff. How was it like having to be behind the steering all the time, day and night? How was it?
Well, trucking for me was a transition phase. It was a really amazing experience. I've been to 48 states. The only states I haven't been to is Alaska and Hawaii. Those are the only two places I haven't been to. So trucking was an amazing experience for me. And yeah. But
Yes, I
now,
remember we also got in contact and you were talking about starting your own trucking business. Yeah, is it still functional? Is it still, what's up with it?
yes, I still have my trucking business. I have drivers driving now, and it's actually called American Dream Trucking. And I actually named it American Dream Trucking because I'm always very proud of how far I have come as a person. And I came into this country in 2018 with nothing but $15 in my pocket. And so the American dream is just the whole idea that anybody can come into the United States and build an empire from nothing.
Hmm.
So that's the beauty of this country.
That's really good to know. Am I permitted to say I'm so proud of you?
Thank you.
You know why? Because, like you said, I remember that very time when you were trying to write your exams. You were trying to do that. You were reading. There was so much you were doing, and just within the space of time, things are fallen in place for you. Now, going to what is the reason why we are here. You are now a practicing lawyer in America, and let's hear your specialization actually.
Oh, okay. So I've been training to become a lawyer for the past about 16 years now. I actually got admission to study law at 16, and that was far back as 2009, and that was at a university in Nigeria called Leeds City University. But I was only there for about 2 years, and then I left the country to a place called Cyprus, a very small island around the Mediterranean. And I was in Cyprus for about 5 years. So I got my LLB and my LLM, and I have a master's in international business law from Guinea American University in Cyprus. And after that, then I proceeded to the United States, and I passed the New York bar exam, and now I'm a licensed attorney here.
All right, so that's actually very good to hear. So it is suffice to say that you are actually qualified to discuss this topic.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
All right, so you started practicing and you run your own law firm. Now, could you just let us into getting situated? There are different things, and like I said earlier, I know that there is H1B, there is EB2, and there is H1B, I mean H2B. All of these things, I'm sure to some people is going to be some kind of a jargon,
Yeah.
because you're not in that field. But for those who truly need those things, it's not really a jargon because they would want to know better. So in your own way, could you please give us a brief overview of what that is?
Absolutely. When you sent me this topic, I was so excited because usually people are only used to the traditional means of getting situated here in the United States. They feel like it's either you get married or you file for asylum, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But these are categories that are available to people, to professionals, people that have done very well for themselves academically, to be able to transition and come into the United States and work without having to be married or go the traditional route. So the H1B and the EB2 are awesome categories for people who are qualified. But of course, not everybody qualifies. And the H1B is actually for people that have at least a minimum of a bachelor's degree. And it basically works like a lottery. It's not guaranteed. Just it's a lottery system. They just put you in the pool and they might choose you, they might not choose you. So usually there's a cap for H1B annually. So the government can only award at least 65,000, approve 65,000 cases. And there's also an extra 20,000 slots for people who have a master's degree from United States institutions. So out of that, it could be way more applications than that, but the USCIS is kind of just limited to the amount of H1B applications that they can award, and they just put it in a pool, and whoever gets picked, it's just based on luck. And then another thing to note about H1B is that you need to have a US employer. So you cannot just file for an H1B by yourself. You cannot self-petition. You need to have a US employer who is offering you an employment and offering you a job. And then the first thing your employer would have to do is to actually get a labor certification with the US Department of Labor. And your employer would have to prove to the Department of Labor that there's no other person here in the United States that can fulfill that role except you. So, and then once they get the labor certification, then they can then file the H1B application through a form that we call I-129. And I-129 basically is just like a really large 36 page or thereabout form that you could actually use the same I-129 for other categories like L1A and R visas and all the other categories. But yeah, we use the I-129 for H1B, and that's of course after your employer already has the labor certification approved. And after that, it depends if the applicants or the beneficiary, I would say, is already here in the United States, then they can, of course, like change their status. But if they're outside the United States, then they can take the approved I-129 together with other supporting documents to apply for a visa in their home country. But like I said, the one huge distinguishing factor between the H1B and the EB2 is the fact that with the H1B, it's only your employer who can petition on your behalf. But with the EB2, you could also have an employer, but there's something called a national interest waiver where you can self-petition. You do not need a job offer or an employer to file for you. You could petition on your behalf by asking for the national interest waiver under the EB2. So with the EB2, you're just trying to tell the US government, hey, I'm not just an ordinary alien. I'm not just an ordinary immigrant. I am an immigrant with exceptional ability, and I have something to contribute to the United States. With the EB2, you actually need an advanced degree. With the H1B, you could just use like the bachelor's degree, but with the EB2, you actually need an advanced degree, which means a master's degree or higher. It could be a master's degree, it could be a PhD. So you need an advanced degree for the EB2 category. So apart from the advanced degree, you also have to be a member of several professional bodies, and also perhaps letters of recommendation. All of that could help. So that's basically the major difference. The fact that with the EB2, you could either have an employer petition for you and also apply for labor certification, or you could actually apply for the national interest waiver and tell them, hey, the United States has a lot to gain from me. I have this exceptional ability in my field, and so yes. And the good thing about H1B and EB2, both of those categories, is that your dependents can also derive status from you as well. Your spouse or your unmarried children under the age of 21 can derive status from the main applicant or the
But
main
sorry to
beneficiary.
cut you. Now, let's just too quick before this skips my mind. Now, having talked about that, I know that it's only in United Kingdom that, this thing is so, very popular that you have a dependent, someone having you got the education visa, and then you have family, if you're married, if you have children, they go with you. But I don't think it's so dominant in America, even though it is, because it was while I was reading and I realized, oh, so there's something like that. So it's just not popular. Now, can you just give us a brief on all of this? Because I realized that even if the dependents come, they can't work, unlike UK, that they can work so that you can go to school. So give us a brief on that.
Yeah, you're right on that one, because usually people don't really know that these things exist unless you get somebody to tell you. And I'm not too familiar with the UK immigration system, but yes, the H1B and the EB2, you can come with your spouse and I think the spouse is also entitled to apply for work authorization, if I'm not wrong. They can apply for work authorization and they can work as well. They are eligible for employment authorization.
But the children can't, right?
Well, unmarried children under the age of 21, I do not think so.